spend $100,000 every night, 2-3 nights in a row.
Yeah, my new BMF piece. My old BMF pieces I don't have no more. Elliot charged me
$100,000 every night, 2-3 nights in a row.
BMF boss, the legend Big Meech, has a GoFundMe.
The streets have been buzzing non-stop ever since Tony Yayo dropped that bombshell, hinting that Big Meech's entire financial empire could be crumbling from within. And trust me, this one shook the culture like a lightning strike. For years, fans have seen Big Meech as the ultimate boss, the man who built BMF from scratch, the one still running a massive legacy, even from behind bars. But according to Yayo, the reality behind the scenes is way messier than anyone expected. He says the money isn't flowing as people think, the brand isn't being managed the way Meech planned, and the people who were supposed to hold it down while Meech was locked up, yeah, some of them might have been dropping the ball hard.
Go out and spend $100,000 every night, 2-3 nights in a row, 3-4 nights in a row.
BMF boss, the legend Big Meech, has a GoFundMe page. What? It was said that this GoFundMe page was set up to assist him in paying his bills since his Welcome Home concert got canceled.
What made people stop in their tracks was the way Yayo said it. He didn't go into some long speech, no detailed breakdown, just a few lines that flipped the whole conversation around BMF upside down. He hinted that the financial side might be mismanaged, money disappearing, deals happening without proper paperwork, and people using the BMF name for clout instead of business. And when someone like Yayo says it, a man known for loyalty, a man who's been ride or die with 50 for decades, people listen. For a long time, fans assumed Big Meech still had major control on the outside. Every time something popped up tied to BMF, merch, brand deals, podcasts, interviews, folks thought Meech had a hand in it. But insiders say that's not how it really is. They say Meech has been frustrated for months, sending messages trying to figure out where certain money went, who approved certain projects, and why deals with his name attached kept appearing that he never even heard about.
Yeah, my new BMF piece. My old BMF pieces I don't have no more. Elliot charged me $200,000 just for this Cuban. This Cuban is like 1,100 grams. It's chunky, real big. I really can't have this on for longer than 3-4 hours. My neck started hurting. The lock said Eliante on it. You know, say his name, his signature. They got the 3 big boogers on each side. So ain't no regular Cuban, you know. You might find a regular Cuban for 50 or for 100 maybe, but you know, it's 200 just for a kilo.
What's the pendant cost then?
3 just for a pendant. This some shit like either I give my daddy, like when he come home, like I keep this forever, like, you know. You can't even go no bigger than this, you know. You don't see no silver or gold, you see straight water.
You gotta understand, Meech is a man who built everything on structure. Back in the early 2000s, BMF didn't rise through chaos. It rose because Meech ran it like a corporation. Everything went through him. Everything was controlled. That's why the idea of people freelancing under his name, that's one thing he can't stand. And that's exactly what Yayo was hinting at. People around Meech have been misusing the brand, letting money slip, and mixing business with ego. And then here's the part that really set the internet on fire. 50 Cent allegedly stepping back. For years, 50 was the loudest voice pushing Meech's story to the world through the BMF series, constantly shouting out the movement, defending the legacy, and building the brand into a global franchise. But recently, something changed. Fans noticed 50 stopped posting about the real BMF family, stopped pushing their side of the story, and stopped mentioning Meech in interviews. And when Yayo brought up the financial problems, that's when people started connecting the dots. Because 50 Cent doesn't stick around chaos. He cuts off the mess quickly. If money is getting mixed up, if the business isn't tight, if people aren't handling things properly, he walks away. And the way things are looking right now, it's starting to make sense why 50 stepped back from everything tied to the real BMF brand. This wasn't a small issue. This was the start of a real collapse. And Yayo just put the whole culture on alert about it.
$100,000 every night, 2-3 nights in a row, 3-4 nights in a row. Now you got some dudes in the corner watching that want to spend a couple $1 million with you. You see what I'm saying? I got lavish homes, lavish spots all over this motherfucker.
To really grasp how deep this situation runs, you gotta see how the BMF brand blew up after Meech went to prison. Even behind bars, Meech got bigger than ever. His name was everywhere. Rappers were shouting him out. Documentaries were being made. People were copying his lifestyle. The entire culture treated him like a legend who never fell. And when 50 Cent dropped the BMF TV series, that pushed Meech into a household name far beyond the streets. But here's what most people didn't see. With all this attention came big business, and big business always brings big problems. The BMF name started showing up on clothing brands, podcasts, books, street documentaries, hood merch, club events, and even random unauthorized TikTok pages claiming to be the official BMF family. And with Meech locked up, keeping control of all that became almost impossible. People close to him started making deals on their own, sometimes with good intentions, sometimes not. Money went missing. Contracts vanished. People were cashing in on the legacy without checking in with Meech or his legal team.
BMF boss, the legend Big Meech, has a GoFundMe page.
What?
It was said that this GoFundMe page was set up to assist him in paying his bills since his Welcome Home concert got canceled. The funds from the Welcome Home concert was supposed to go towards his bills, and it was supposed to assist him in paying them off. Now,
that's where Tony Yayo's comments hit the hardest. He basically said, y'all think BMF is financially solid, but it's not. That one line made fans realize that while Big Meech is a forever legend, the business side of BMF is unstable, disorganized, scattered, and caught between street politics and Hollywood. And that combination is deadly for a brand this big. Let's be real. It's way easier to run an empire when you're outside, surrounded by your crew. It's a whole different game when you're locked up, depending on people to represent your name. Meech always said loyalty was everything, but loyalty doesn't always translate to business sense. Some people around him were emotionally loyal, but financially reckless. Others were smart, but selfish. And some were straight up using the name for attention and money. Reports say Meech started hearing about payments missing from brand collaborations, mismanaged event profits, deals signed without authorization, and situations where the BMF name was licensed without him signing off on anything. Imagine having your entire legacy in the hands of people you can't even supervise. That would make anyone furious, especially someone who built a massive empire through strategy and calculations. And then there's the Hollywood side, with the BMF series blowing up. The line between real BMF and TV BMF got blurry. New fans didn't know who to trust. Old fans didn't know who was officially legit. The brand became chaotic. Too many voices, too many hands, too many egos. And in the middle of that storm, 50 Cent started noticing the cracks. 50 is a businessman first, disciplined, calculated. He doesn't attach his brand to anything unstable. And when he saw the real BMF family having internal money issues, he quietly backed away. Because the last thing he wants is to get dragged into someone else's financial collapse. Whether people like it or not, that's just how 50 moves. What Yayo said wasn't gossip. It was a reality check. A signal that BMF's outside world is falling apart without Meech in control. And if things don't get fixed soon, that legacy could take years to recover. Now here's where it gets even messier. When fans heard 50 Cent was distancing himself, they didn't know whether to be shocked or say, yeah, that sounds like 50. The truth is, 50 Cent had been signaling for months that he wasn't rocking with certain parts of the BMF family anymore. He stopped promoting certain projects. He stopped posting certain names. He stopped shouting out people he once supported. And most importantly, 50 kept his focus strictly on the TV show, not the real-life BMF organization. People close to the situation say 50 started noticing inconsistencies. People are hitting him with money requests, others are trying to attach themselves to the show, and some are allegedly negotiating deals behind Meech's back. If there's anything 50 hates, it's messy business. He's dealt with too many lawsuits, too many snakes, too many fake managers, too many opportunists to get caught slipping. Now, Tony Yayo hinted that 50 didn't want to be part of that chaos because when a brand gets messy financially, everyone involved ends up taking the hit. And 50's too smart to let someone else's mistake damage his empire. He's a power player. He protects his name at all costs. It's not that 50 doesn't love Meech. Everybody knows he respects Big Meech deeply. They've had a strong bond for over a decade. 50 always said BMF deserved a big Hollywood story, and he delivered it. But supporting Meech doesn't mean supporting every person claiming they're connected to the BMF brand, especially not when money's going missing and people start blaming each other. Insiders even say 50 warned Big Meech about certain people in his circle, telling him some folks weren't handling business right. That's when Meech started digging into the financial side more, and what he found allegedly made him furious. Deals are being made without his approval. Merch revenue is not making it back to him. Large amounts of money are unaccounted for. Brand licensing is happening without clearance. Once Meech started asking questions, the pressure turned into chaos. That's the collapse Yo hinted at. Not that Meech is broke, but his financial house is unstable, with people inside the structure working against each other. And 50 saw this storm forming before anyone else did. When you think about it, 50 walking away wasn't disrespect, it was survival. He's been burned too many times in business to stay attached to a situation slipping. And as much as people wanted 50 and the real BMF family to stay tight forever, the truth is business relationships shift when the financial foundation starts collapsing. Tony O didn't expose anything to insult Meech. He exposed it to show how fragile things are once the main boss isn't there to keep order. And right now, that order is broken. At this point, the biggest question is simple. Where does BMF go from here? Because if Tony Yayo's comments are true, and Big Meech's financial empire is really unstable, the whole movement needs a reset. The legacy will always be strong. Nobody can erase what Meech built, but the business structure, that can crumble fast if things don't change. You gotta think about it. Meech built BMF like a corporation. He had hierarchy, structure, discipline, roles, and loyalty. But now with him locked up, the brand is in the hands of people with different priorities. Some are chasing fame, some are chasing money, some are trying to keep the legacy alive, others are just trying to survive. That mix creates chaos. We've already seen the warning signs. People arguing publicly, people giving interviews without permission, shady merch deals, unauthorized documentaries, fake BMF accounts popping up daily, and inconsistent messaging from different family members. That's not a stable empire. That's a brand at war with itself. The saddest point, Meech didn't want his story to turn into this. He didn't want the BMF legacy mixed with confusion, missing money, or internal conflict. He wanted unity. He wanted business done clean. He wanted the next generation to represent the name correctly. But with him behind bars, his vision is at the mercy of people who don't have his discipline or respect for the structure. Now everyone's watching how Meech responds next. Does he tighten up the circle, cut off certain people, reorganize the brand from prison, bring in a real business manager to fix everything? Or does he let the chaos continue until the BMF name becomes too messy to salvage? And the other big question is this: does 50 Cent ever come back? Right now it looks unlikely. 50 doesn't return to burn bridges unless the rebuild is clean, organized, and secure. He's a businessman first. If the BMF family gets their structure straight, maybe he steps back in. But until then, he's choosing distance. And honestly, he might be right to do so. The whole culture is watching this unfold like a movie. Fans who grew up admiring Meech see this as a turning point. Supporters who followed the TV show see it as a sign that the real story is even crazier than the scripted version. In Tony Yayo's words, everyone realized something important. Legends aren't immune to bad business. Empires can fall from the inside, and loyalty means nothing if the structure isn't solid. Big Meech will always be respected, but respect alone won't fix the financial storm he's facing. Something has to change, and fast, before the entire BMF brand breaks apart.